Today on CityCast Nashville, we're joined by two local comedians performing at this year's Nashville Comedy Festival, John Tatoy and Paula Koshensky. They're known in town for a very specific type of stand-up called clean comedy, where the jokes steer clear of profanity or offensive content, focusing more on clever, relatable, or family-friendly humor. We're asking them why they think clean comedy is having a moment. And hey, Paula is making her Ryman debut tonight as part of Nateland Presents Good Clean Comedy, brought to you by Nashville's own Nate Bargatze. It's Tuesday, April 8th. I'm your host, Marie Cecil Anderson, and this is what Nashville's talking about. Everybody knows who Nate Bargatze is. He's world famous, everyone's favorite comedian, and he happens to be from Nashville, specifically Old Hickory. And we celebrate him because he's known as a clean comic. Paula and John, you both are known also as clean comics. What does clean comedy mean to you?
I think clean comedy to me means being able to truly provide a service to people who I think typically don't have very much entertainment geared towards them. Just being able to have families either watch it, or I work a lot with kids, and so it just means so much to be able to have something on that they can be around, but I can still enjoy. And there's almost none of that.
Yeah, honestly, the best way I describe it is I think that I would say at least 95% of people, their initial funny thoughts have some sense of cleanliness to them. It's just making the most out of those. It's definitely not the easiest one to do if it's not, especially if you didn't start out clean. I did not start out clean, but it's basically a type of comedy that you can just show friends and family and strangers too is the best thing. And there's not too big of a risk you're taking, at least socially.
And if I can just add something on that too, me and John are both very trying to walk with the Lord. And so just being able to do God honoring comedy is such a big deal. I wouldn't be able to do comedy if it wasn't that. And I wouldn't want to do it if it wasn't that. So, I didn't start off clean. I definitely grew and learned as I went. But the idea of providing comedy that is God honoring is the most important part.
Have you ever received any kind of pushback from other comedians about your style of comedy, especially with walking with the Lord and focusing your comedy in that sense?
Honestly, I can say that I don't think I've had anyone tell me to my face that I'm doing something wrong or dumb. I think some people kind of maybe talk around it, maybe treat you like you're a little bit naive or something. But honestly, it truly doesn't matter. You don't do clean comedy for the approval of other comedians. Everyone in Nashville has been the sweetest people. And the only people that I feel have had problems has been clearly we're not the problem. Clearly something else is going on and we're just wrong place, wrong time situation. I don't know. I just think that when you're doing comedy and you're trying to walk with Jesus, you have someone else to please. We're always told you have an audience of one, and it's Jesus. And so for as long as that is being upheld, not only are you not supposed to worry about what other people say about that, but it's also it's wrong for you to indulge those quote unquote complaints rather than keep to what you know you're supposed to be doing. John, what do you think?
I think it's been harder, honestly, for me to be completely honest, just because it's not a surprise when you say that there's a lot of men who do comedy. So I think that certain people sometimes paint this picture of Paul and I that just because we do clean comedy and I don't know, are Christian as well, that sometimes they just are uncomfortable talking about things that adults can talk about, even out in front of us. Because we've had an instance where someone's hey, you know that John and Paul are X, Y, and Z, right? And Christian and clean, and yeah, but you can still have a conversation with your friend. I'm not gonna get the ruler stick out and be
right. And you're also comedian, so you're around all types of art.
Yeah, Nate Bargatze is best friends with Big J Okerson. So
right. We're not in a cult. It's not oh, I simply can't interact with people who don't agree with me. That's just not reasonable.
Do either of you all touch politics in your comedy at all?
I don't.
Every now and then. I typically come at it from a because I truly don't understand politics. So I try to take it from like what it looks like to someone who doesn't understand it, or I'll do wordplay. Like one joke I don't do as much, but like I love is like, I am a conservative. I believe in the 3 Gs, God, guns, and a gay old time.
It's a good one.
But like that just, because it just like throws people off. They're like, oh boy, like this guy's about to go on a
but it's
Nick
so
DiPaolo
unexpected
rant.
then. It's just so brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, and it just shows that I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So what I even talk about?
Well, I'd love to hear more about both of your early starts to comedy. So you both have said that you didn't start off clean. Where did you both begin?
We started in Fargo, North Dakota.
Really?
Where most comedians do.
Is that where you both are from?
Yes. Paul was born and raised there.
And John moved to Fargo in college and spent a lot of his college years and then stayed after that. And then that's how we all sort of got to know each other, was through the Fargo comedy scene.
And John, were you doing yo-yo? You're a world champion, is that correct? In yo-yo?
I am, yeah.
Wow.
I'm the youngest American to have ever won it. And I started out doing that. So I kind of like had some idea of just like general stage presence that I was comfortable with. But comedy, I found out really quickly, is a totally different game. And that kind of excited me because there's so much, it's a totally different skill. You got to really read an audience. And I started out my senior year of college in Fargo, North Dakota. We probably had about 7 mics every week and had a club or 2 in town as well. So even though most people probably wouldn't guess it was there, it was a pretty strong scene when I started.
And then from Fargo, did y'all move to Nashville? Is that right?
Paula is the reason.
Oh, so Paula, you wanted to go to Nashville? And why not Chicago, LA, or New York?
I love that because that's what everybody always asks, and I love getting to tell the story. So, okay, John and I were very fresh dating, not very far into, like maybe 2 months into dating, a month. And John surprised me very kindly with tickets to go see Nate's show in Las Vegas. And it was the best comedy I've ever been a part of. It was so fun. John said that like the whole time, like my back never touched the seat. And I was just like in love with comedy, specifically like Nate's comedy. And I was like, this is the coolest thing that's ever existed. If this is stand-up, I want to do it. Like I want to do it more seriously. And then it was a very rudimentary decision. It was like, Nate lives in Nashville. We should live in Nashville. And then really that was about as much thought as I had put into it.
This was back in 2021. So a lot of the bigger cities that did have comedy weren't even really remotely open at the time because of the disease. But Nashville was the most open. And then we came and visited the week before Christmas of that year. And then Paul was just like, yep, I'm moving there. You can come with if you want. So,
although I definitely wanted him to come. I couldn't, looking back on it, I wouldn't have survived without him.
Oh, yeah. Immediately you have your best friend and your support system right there with you in Nashville.
Right.
Yeah.
As you're starting your comedy career here.
Well, Paul also, she told her parents very upfront. I didn't tell my parents until very short notice that I was moving.
Oh my
so
goodness.
it was a little bit shock. Yeah.
Like, by the way, we're leaving.
Yeah,
Basically.
pretty much. Yeah.
Wow. It was almost that close. He let me, we were at dinner with his parents and I was like, oh yeah, looking for jobs in Nashville. And they're like, why are you looking for jobs in Nashville? And I was like, I'll kill you. I can't believe you haven't said anything yet. It was like our first fight.
We got married, so.
Yeah.
You got married, yes. I was at your engagement.
Oh.
John proposed at Don't Tell Comedy Show here in Nashville, and it was so beautiful. And you had family in the audience, too. It was a whole sold-out crowd. It was perfect. I cried. No offense, but I didn't really know y'all then. I was just so touched by John's romantic gesture. It was really beautiful, and I appreciate being able to be a witness to your love. So it was really beautiful.
I wish so much I could post pictures from that, but I had the worst bang trim in my entire life over our engagement that I can't even post the photos because I look so bad.
No, you don't, but that's just me.
Well, I want to talk more about Nate. So Nate Bargatze, that inspiration brought you to Nashville, but now you're working with him. Is that right?
Yeah, so
When did that happen?
I don't know. I'm as surprised as you are.
I'm not actually, Paula. You both are unbelievable comedians. So of course he wants to work with y'all.
Well, you're sweet. I feel like it kind of just, I don't know, when we moved here, we were just like open micers. We didn't know anybody, but, we kind of like worked our way into the scene. And by the time we had moved here, we were both like clean. And so that really helped. And then we just honestly were so blessed by the timing of it. Like divine intervention, the lab opened up in Zanies. Nateland started doing showcases. I mean, I couldn't have picked it better. And so it just like fell in our lap, and then we were just really grateful to get the opportunities that we get. And then I think it doesn't help that we've been like very obsessed with the Nateland world, and so happily have taken anything that they would give us, and we're just truly so grateful to be a part of it.
About the clean comedy scene here in Nashville, what is it like? And why do you think there's such a demand for it in town?
Well, Nate was the highest selling comedian last year in terms of actual concert and ticket sales. I think it was somewhere around like 140 million. It was like a lot of money. And that in conjunction with his SNL appearances and the DoorDash campaign he's been doing, I think that when that type of person lives in your town and is very proud to be from that town, it naturally will grow around whatever that style is. And it's inspired a lot of clean comics to move here from all over. And it's not that the dirty comedy isn't here. The dirty comedy is still here, and there's a lot of good of it too. I mean, I still watch dirty comedy even though I'm a clean comic myself. But the thing that's just making clean comedy get really more amped up is just the true brand behind it, which is just all the good people here who do it.
I honestly feel like it would do well a lot of places, but Nashville just seems to be like, because of Nate, it's like the place where you can come and you can be a clean comedian and you don't have to put up with like as much like disgusting stuff. I don't know. That sounds kind of, I don't mean it in like a mean or judgy way. I just mean like, I used to think that in order to be like really into stand-up, you had to be like a certain way and you had to have like thick skin and all this stuff, and you just couldn't be normal in comedy. And then seeing Nate, you're like, oh, you can be a well-adjusted person and also love to make people laugh. And not only does it exist, but clearly it's doing well. And so I think that just was a big permission.
So I started doing comedy in New York City, but it was like a lot of shock comedy. And because of that, I was a shock comic and very dirty and, feminist, progressive. But then when I moved back to my hometown, Nashville, I was actually told, like, you better clean up your act or you're not going to work here. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And I think it's just different per comic. However, I will say, I think clean comedy is harder. This is my personal opinion. I think it's harder because you're trying to reach a universal audience. I don't know. It can be such a beautiful thing.
The cool thing, though, is some of the comics who aren't clean here are amazing. And even like dirtier comics or comics that are not just like the traditional sense of clean come here, like Dave Attell, I think, is like one of the best comedians of all time. And he's not by any means clean, but those parts that he does do clean that I still derive from as a clean comic is really just the absurdist point of view. The stuff that's like crazy, but doesn't swear or necessarily talk about sex and whatever right away. That's something that I appreciate still as like a general comedian too.
And I was going to say, like, because I agree with you, I think that I definitely appeal more to women just because like I am a woman, I have that experience. But when I think of a comedian that is clean, but also someone who I view as like a very good role model for women is like Leanne Morgan.
Love her.
Not only is she, advocates for women, but older women who truly, are so like overlooked in society. Just, I don't know, it's you age out of it and then you just aren't considered anymore. And so in my opinion, there's a way to meet so many different audiences while doing clean without necessarily having to all be the exact same. Like Nate is great, but there's so many comedians outside of Nate that I think do really great clean comedy that's still relatable and still deeply true.
Also, I don't know if you knew this, but like Nashville and Tennessee in general has the most dry bar specials out of any state in the United States.
Yeah, tell us about Dry Bar.
Paul has one.
Did you film it here in Nashville? And tell us about like the process of that. Who produces it?
So Angel Studios produces it, and then Dry Bar is their comedy production. They film it out in Provo, Utah. My mom and my sister came, which was really great because I ended up getting the most insane stomach flu for that entire weekend and threw up literally all day through the special.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's almost a miracle she filmed the thing.
I wanted to quit. I was like, I'm not going. And John was like, you can quit when we're there. They have to see you. Anyway, had to like hold a trash can the whole way to the venue. Got there, was holding my trash can while they're putting on hair and makeup and all that. And then they put a garbage can on a stool with wet wipes in the wing. And they're like, if you throw up, you can go do whatever you need to do, and you can come back and we'll edit it out. And I'm like, edit it out? I'm not coming back.
Because you were puking so much. Oh my gosh. But you did it, and it's an incredible special, and it's
Thank
so
you.
highly celebrated here. That is like a big coveted thing, I think, for locals to get their Dry Bar special. There's only been a handful of people, I believe, here in Nashville that have those.
It worked out. Like, the Lord works in mysterious ways. It's weirdly felt like a gift in hindsight to be like, I was so nervous about being sick that I didn't even have time to think about if it would go bad. I was just like, Lord, let me live.
Well, here's the funny thing too. I thought it was nerves too. So I was like texting a lot of our friends who were like had done a special from Nashville. Hey, can you send a message of encouragement to Paula? I think she's just like really nervous and sick about it. And then like people were sending messages, and then I had to be like, they're like, no, she had the flu. But thanks for the message.
Oh, oh, that's amazing. And now you both are touring all over the country. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do a lot of stuff all over.
That's wonderful. Focusing back on Nashville, what are your favorite places in town to perform or even just go and watch clean comedy?
Definitely Zanies.
Yeah.
Is one of them. Also, there's this guy, he owns kind of like a mini company called Comedian Discovery. He's a veteran of the United States Army, I believe it is. And he literally is just pouring like money, not doing it for the money, but he's just creating new shows at places like theaters and Franklin around the Nashville area. And they've been pretty successful for the most part. And then Third Coast still has some pretty good shows, too. That's kind of where we were constantly trying to get up when we first moved here, because the thought of Zanies was like an 8-year-old saying that they want to be in the Major League Baseball like in 2 years. So
Yeah, we were like, okay, there's no way we're going to get that.
But now you're asked to perform there all the time.
Yeah, crazy. Life is wild. I will say too, our friend Drew Davis, he actually married us, and he runs like the Clean Comedy Collective, and I think that is a good opportunity for newer comedians who, you know, when you're brand new in comedy, you just go so dirty because, I mean, me too, you don't know what else to do. I was like that. And so to have the Clean Comedy Collective for younger or newer comics who are like, oh, there's another way, that's cool too.
Well, what advice would you give comics who want to pursue clean comedy, either in Nashville or anywhere else in the world?
I would just say, if you want to pursue great clean comedy, do it. There's so many people, like, this is the time. You really can't ask for a better time and environment to do clean comedy. And if you don't want to do it anyway, because honestly, everyone I think should have 20 to 30 minutes of corporate clean, just from a business perspective. You know, take the value side out of it. It's just kind of silly not to have, so that you can be taken seriously as a corporate comedian, which is going to help you make money. It's going to help you grow your professionalism, because comics typically aren't very professional. I say that as I was 10 minutes late for this, but but just like being able to do that, it really doesn't hurt you. And in general, like I was just telling John this the other day, there are so many gigs where I've seen people come pull it out at the last minute and go, by the way, you have to be clean. Or an audience is just generally cleaner than you realize. Like they're maybe different than like older or whatever. And people cannot adjust, and it's so painful to watch. I've literally never in my life seen an audience get genuinely angry with a clean comedian. I have seen them get genuinely angry at a dirty comedian who cannot adjust to the room. Just my personal thought.
Yeah, I guess I agree with Paula on too. Like, get like 5 to 10 minutes, because if you can do 5 to 10 minutes of clean comedy, you'll learn how to host really quickly. And a good host is typically a pretty good headliner because they know how to get them back or sustain the vibe of the room and do all the things like that. Another thing, I guess, too, that I love about clean comedy is that, like, just being able to do it allows you some of the things you want that you may not even know exist. Just like these don't tell things that have been coming out that has a little bit of dirty even. They're only 8-minute clips, but they go super viral all the time. I mean, that's how Ralph Barbosa and all those guys were launched. And even Ralph's not the cleanest comic in the world, but his Don't Tell tape was, you know, he could do that on network television if he absolutely wanted to. And then I guess the last thing is, like, the way that I think about it is, like, we currently have clean showcases and dirty showcases. The best way that, like, I like to explain clean comedy is, like, a clean comic can go on a dark and dirty show and still do at least just fine. A dirty comic can go on a clean show and completely ruin the thing. So it's being able to have a foot in both worlds even a little bit really helps you out.
And Maria, I have a question for you, because I feel like you might kind of feel this way, is like whenever there's like a really dirty comedian, it tends to also be really like aggressive and like offensive humor. So I just think like being clean sometimes steers people away from really like hot topics that it's just no need to like get everybody in a tizzy.
Yeah, it feels like clean comedy really does bring people together and unites them. You know, by the end of a clean comedy show, everyone's friends. And I just remember this one comic, I can't remember his last name. His name's Caleb. He came down and headlined Zanies, and he's total clean comic. He had just jokes about going to the dentist, flying on an airplane, just very general scenarios and setups. But like, we all go to the dentist. I mean, I didn't go for like 10 years, but you know what I mean? It's like most of us fly. Like, it's just all so relatable. And then if it's just funny jokes, that's amazing. It was just so rewarding to sit there and relax and listen and laugh. So Paula, you have tonight, is this your Ryman debut?
Yes, and this is the most insane thing ever.
Listeners, Paula is performing tonight at the Ryman, part of the Nashville Comedy Festival, for Nateland Presents Good, Clean Fun. I am so excited for you. What are you feeling right now? Tell us. Do you have a little bit of stomach flu? No stomach flu.
No, Lord willing, no. No, I am so excited, and when I got the call, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Thank you so much. Did someone make a mistake? There is, if you look at this lineup, you're like, it feels like you put like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, like all these, and then one intern. Where you're like,
that is
really?
Not true. Oh.
I'm so grateful. I really am confident in my material, and I think I have a lot of like overlap with the Nateland audience. So I expect it to go well, but I am just like in awe that I am a part of this at all, and I'm so grateful.
And John, are you going to be watching in the wings?
I will be. Yep. And then I'll be doing some shows too for Nashville Comedy Week. So it's going to be a fun time. That's the thing I love about being married to Paula, is that like we just like kind of get our feet in different pools, but it's so fun because we get to be in the moment when we're watching the other person. So
you guys are like the Nashville comedy scene's Beyonce and Jay-Z, the power couple.
Oh
like
gosh.
It really is just such a treat to have
that's super
y'all.
flattering.
I'm putting that in my Instagram bio now.
Yep, there you go. Oh, you both are so wonderful. And listeners, please, I'm going to put links in our show notes for some of their upcoming shows. So I want everybody to check them out. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having us. You have a great podcast. You're killing it.
Oh, thanks. Thank you both. That's all for today here on CityCast Nashville. And hey, Paula, break a leg tonight at the Ryman. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell your friends? Rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Nashville newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Toodles.